February 2026 is shaping up to be a month full of surprises. And if you rely on your Social Security payments, you need to listen carefully. The Social Security Administration has just confirmed critical updates that could affect exactly when your check arrives and how much ends up in your account. Mark your calendars for February 10th because that's the first date when millions of Americans will see a change that could either boost their payment or delay it unexpectedly. This isn't some minor administrative adjustment. This is real money affecting real people who depend on these payments to survive. But here's the truth. This isn't just a routine update. Some recipients will see extra benefits, while others could face new processing changes they weren't expecting. And the difference between knowing what's coming and being caught off guard could mean the difference between paying your bills on time and scrambling to catch up. What happens next will surprise you, and if you're not prepared, it could cost you money this month. I'm not exaggerating. The changes coming in February could affect your rent payment, your grocery budget, your medication costs, everything that depends on that Social Security deposit hitting your account when you expect it. Stay tuned because in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what's happening, why it matters to you, and how to make sure you get every dollar you're entitled to. I'm going to give you specific dates, specific examples, and specific action steps you can take right now to protect yourself from any surprises. Now let's break down exactly what's happening in February 2026, why it matters, and what it means for you and your household budget. The Social Security Administration has released its official schedule, and this month there are several changes that every recipient needs to know. Not just understand, know. These need to be written down, marked on your calendar, set as reminders on your phone. First, let's talk dates. The very first payments are scheduled for February 10th. That's right. For those whose benefits are paid early in the month, your deposits could already start appearing in your bank accounts on that date. But here's the catch, and this is where it gets interesting. These early payments may include adjustments that you weren't expecting. Some recipients will see an increase that makes their deposit higher than usual. Others might notice a small delay because their payment is being processed through new verification systems. This is because the SSA is implementing new verification processes to ensure all payments are calculated correctly after the 2025 cost of living adjustments took effect. Think about what this means practically. If you normally get your payment on the 3rd of the month and you've planned your bill payments around that date, and suddenly your deposit doesn't arrive until the 10th, that's a full week delay. Your rent might be due on the 1st, your mortgage payment might auto-draft on the 5th, your utility bills might be scheduled to pay on the 7th. A week's delay can cause overdraft fees, late payment charges, and a whole cascade of financial problems. Now, you might be asking, why is this happening? Why change a system that's been working for years? The answer is inflation and updated policies. In December 2025, the government finalized the COLA increase for Social Security and supplemental security income for February 2026. This means payments are being adjusted upward by 4.2% on average. Let me put that in real numbers so you understand what that actually means in your bank account. For example, if you were receiving $1,500 a month last year, you could see an increase of around $63. That's $63 more every single month, which adds up to $756 more over the course of the year. But it's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about timing and eligibility. The SSA is double-checking records, especially for those who are receiving multiple benefits like Social Security plus SSDI or SSI. This verification process ensures there are no overpayments, which is good. You don't want to receive too much now and then have to pay it back later. But it also means some checks could be held for a few days longer than usual while they verify everything is correct. But here's the insider part. Most people don't know the detail that's not being widely publicized because the SSA doesn't want everyone calling about it. Some recipients may actually see a one-time bonus payment. According to a memo circulating within Social Security offices, and I've seen this document, it's legitimate, a small group of low-income seniors who haven't received the full 2025 COLA increase could get a corrective payment in February. That could be anywhere from $150 to $500 extra in one lump sum. Imagine that. You're expecting your normal deposit, maybe with the small COLA increase, and suddenly there's an extra $300 sitting in your account. That's money that can make a real difference. That's a month's worth of groceries for some people. That's medication costs covered. That's unexpected car repairs handled. Listen carefully because not everyone qualifies, and it's based on income and past underpayments. If you fall into this category, your February deposit could surprise you in a very positive way. But you need to check your online account to see if you're eligible because the SSA isn't sending out notifications to everyone about this. At the same time, there are updates on benefit delivery methods that you need to be aware of because they could affect whether you get your money on time. Paper checks are being phased out faster than ever. The SSA has been pushing electronic deposits for years, but now they're really accelerating that process. By February, the SSA estimates that over 95% of recipients will receive their payments electronically. That's the good news. Electronic payments are faster, more secure, and more reliable. But here's the problem. If you still rely on a paper check, make sure your address is current because delays have already been reported in certain regions. Banks and postal services are preparing for a heavier load this month, and a misaddressed check could mean waiting days or even weeks longer than expected. Think about the Postal Service. They're already dealing with staffing shortages in many areas. They're dealing with weather delays. And now they're dealing with an increased volume of Social Security checks going out at the same time. If your check goes to the wrong address because you moved last year and didn't update your information, it could take 2 weeks or more to get that corrected. 2 weeks without your Social Security payment when you're living on a fixed income, that's a crisis. That's why it's crucial to verify your information right now, today, before these payments start going out. Log into your My Social Security account online. Check that your address is correct. Check that your bank account information is up to date. If you're on direct deposit, don't wait until your payment is late to discover there was a problem. Now let's talk specifics about Social Security disability insurance because there are changes here that affect a specific group of people. February 2026 will be the first month that the SSA implements an updated schedule for SSDI payments for newly approved beneficiaries. Instead of receiving their first payment on the usual 15th of the month, some recipients could get it on the 12th or 13th. This adjustment is meant to streamline processing, to make the system more efficient and get money into people's hands faster. But it can be confusing if you're expecting the traditional schedule that you've been told to expect. So if you're new to SSDI, if you just got approved in the last few months and you're waiting for your first payment, or if you're helping someone else manage their benefits, pay close attention to this. Your first check might arrive earlier than you expected, which is good news. But if you're not watching for it, if you're expecting it on the 15th and it comes on the 12th, you might miss it or think there's been a mistake. Here's what this means practically. If you've been struggling financially, waiting for your disability approval, and you've been planning your budget thinking your first check will arrive on the 15th, but it actually arrives on the 12th, that's 3 extra days you have money in your account. 3 extra days you can pay bills, buy groceries, handle emergencies. That matters. Another critical detail involves supplemental security income, or SSI, and this is where things get complicated because it varies by state. The federal SSI payment rate remains the same for most recipients, but February 2026 includes a special state supplement adjustment for certain states like California, New York, and Florida. This means residents of these states could see an increase ranging from $25 to $75, depending on their local rules and how their state government has decided to supplement the federal payment. Now, before you get too excited, not all states have made the adjustment yet, and some are still pending legislative approval. Let me explain why this matters. If you live in California and you're getting SSI, you might see an extra $75 in your February payment. That's not nothing. That's significant money when you're living on $9 a month federal SSI. An extra $75 is almost a 10% increase. That could be the difference between affording your rent and not affording your rent. But if you live in a state that hasn't approved their supplement adjustment yet, you're not getting that money. So you've got seniors in California getting an extra $75 and seniors in Ohio getting nothing extra beyond the federal amount. Is that fair? Maybe not, but that's how the system works when you have state supplements on top of federal benefits. This makes February 2026 a month of mixed updates. Some positive, some requiring careful attention, and all of them depending on where you live and what specific benefits you're receiving. Now, why does this all matter to you? Why am I spending so much time explaining these details? Because timing and accuracy are everything when you're living on a fixed income. A few days difference in when your deposit arrives or a small adjustment in your payment can affect your bills, your rent, or even your prescription coverage. For seniors living on a fixed income, these small changes can add up quickly. And the SSA knows this. That's why their notices are urging recipients to check online, verify bank details, and report any discrepancies immediately. They want to prevent overpayments and underpayments, and that's good. Overpayments cause problems down the line when they try to collect that money back from you. Underpayments mean you're not getting money you're entitled to. But preventing these problems also puts the responsibility on you to stay informed, to be proactive, to check your accounts regularly. Finally, here's the part that will keep you watching, the part that makes February 2026 more important than just another month of Social Security payments. The February 2026 updates could set the stage for changes later this year. Social Security is planning a series of system-wide improvements, including faster electronic deposits, automatic COLA recalculations, and more accurate reporting for those with multiple benefits. What happens in February will give a strong signal of how these changes will roll out in March and beyond. If the February updates go smoothly, expect more changes to roll out faster. If there are problems, delays, errors, confusion, they'll slow down the implementation. And if you miss one key step, like confirming your bank information or checking for state supplements, you might be left out of extra payments that others receive. You could be leaving money on the table simply because you didn't know to check for it. So February 2026 isn't just another month on the calendar. It's a preview of the new Social Security landscape where timing, accuracy, and attention to detail will determine whether you get the full benefit you're entitled to. Now let's talk about what this really means for you, how February 2026's Social Security updates will affect your money, your benefits, and your plans for the month. Let's get specific with numbers because that's what actually matters when you're trying to pay bills. If you receive a standard Social Security retirement check, here's the first key point you need to understand. The average monthly benefit is now $1,172 after the 4.2% cost of living adjustment. That's an increase of about $63 for most recipients. It might not sound like a huge amount when you first hear it. 63, that's not going to change your life, right? But for thousands of seniors, this could mean covering a utility bill that might otherwise go unpaid. This could mean buying extra groceries, so you're not rationing food at the end of the month. This could even mean putting gas in your car without stress, being able to drive to doctor's appointments, or to visit family. But don't get too comfortable just yet, because timing is everything this month. For example, recipients who normally get payments on the 3rd of the month might see their deposits on February 10th instead. That's a 7-day delay. That delay could throw off all your planned payments. Rent is typically due on the 1st of the month. Mortgage payments often auto-draft on the 1st or 5th. Medical bills that you've set up on payment plans might be scheduled for the 3rd or 5th. If your Social Security doesn't arrive until the 10th, all of those payments could bounce, causing overdraft fees, late payment charges, and damage to your credit score. But here's the upside, the silver lining in this situation. If your payment is held slightly longer for verification, it may include adjustments or one-time bonus corrections that make your total deposit higher than usual. Imagine checking your bank account expecting to see $1,572 and instead seeing $1,722 or even $2,000 because of a correction payment. Imagine seeing an extra $150 to $500 suddenly appear in your bank account. That's money most people didn't expect, weren't planning for, and suddenly it's there. That could cover an unexpected expense like a broken appliance. It could add to your emergency savings. It could give you breathing room in your budget for the first time in months. Now, for those receiving Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, February is especially important. and I want to make sure you understand exactly what's happening with your payments. The federal rate remains the same for most people at $9 to $14 per month for individuals. But as I mentioned earlier, state supplements could add an extra $25 to $75 for residents in select states. If you live in California, New York, or Florida, 3 of the states that have confirmed supplement increases for February, this month's deposit might be significantly higher than last month's. It's essential to check your state's payment schedule because even a small addition like this can make a big difference when you're paying for medicine, groceries, or transportation. When you're living on $9 to $14 a month, an extra $50 is a 5.5% increase in your income. That's substantial. Social Security disability insurance recipients need to pay close attention as well because the changes affecting you are different from those affecting retirees. February 2026 is the first month that newly approved SSDI recipients could see their first payment earlier than usual, around February 12th or 13th instead of the standard 15th. That's good news if you've been waiting for your first check. SSDI applications can take months or even years to get approved. By the time you finally get that approval, you're often in desperate financial straits. Getting your first payment 3 days earlier than expected can be a huge relief, but it could create confusion if you're trying to coordinate bills and you're expecting money on a specific date. Here's a tip that will save you a lot of stress. Check your online Social Security account now and set alerts for deposits so you know exactly when the money hits your account. Most banks offer text or email alerts when deposits arrive. Turn those on, and here's something many seniors don't realize, something that's not widely publicized. Some Social Security recipients who had delayed payments in late 2025 may see a corrective catch-up payment included in February. For instance, if a payment was underpaid by $75 last year because of a calculation error or a processing delay, the SSA is adding that amount automatically this month. They're not making you apply for it. They're not making you call and complain. They're just adding it to your February payment. Multiply that by tens of thousands of recipients across the country, and you're looking at millions of dollars being deposited to help seniors cover bills they might not have been able to cover otherwise. If you think you might be eligible for this, double-check your account online. Missing it could mean leaving money on the table, money that's rightfully yours. But before you get too excited about all these potential increases, there's a warning you need to hear. A few states are experiencing processing delays due to new verification rules that the SSA has implemented to prevent fraud and overpayments. States like Texas, Ohio, and Michigan are seeing some checks arrive a few days later than expected. If you rely solely on paper checks rather than direct deposit, these delays could stretch up to a week or even longer in some cases. This is why the SSA is pushing everyone to use direct deposit, which is faster, safer, and ensures you get your money on time. If you haven't set it up yet, do it immediately. I mean today, not next week, not when you get around to it, today. Even 1 day's delay can cause missed payments for bills or medication. If your rent is due on the 1st and your check doesn't arrive until the 8th, your landlord isn't going to care that the Social Security Administration changed their processing schedule. You're still going to be hit with a late fee. Let's break this down with real examples so you can see how these changes affect actual people. Take Mrs. Thompson in Florida. She receives $914 in federal SSI plus a $50 state supplement that Florida has been providing. In January 2026, her total payment was $964. In February, thanks to COLA adjustments and a minor state correction, she'll receive $1,027. That's a $63 increase. That extra money might not seem like much to someone living on a higher income, but it covers her prescription copays for 2 of her medications and part of her grocery bill for the month. Now imagine hundreds of thousands of recipients experiencing similar boosts. These adjustments add up, and for many seniors living on fixed incomes, where every dollar is already allocated to a specific expense, it makes February a critical month. Another example, Mr. Ramirez in California receives Social Security retirement benefits plus SSDI because he became disabled after already starting to collect retirement. His regular payment was $1,272. This month, he'll see the COLA increase plus a small catch-up payment of $100 from a late 2025 adjustment that the SSA finally processed. His total deposit could be over $1,635, giving him extra money to handle unexpected medical bills that insurance didn't fully cover. This is why February is different from any other month. Some seniors will get a small bonus. Others may see delays. But almost everyone needs to stay informed about what's happening with their specific situation. Now, what about taxes? This is something people often forget to consider. Listen carefully because this could affect your tax situation when you file in 2027. Social Security payments are generally not taxed for lower-income seniors. If Social Security is your only income, you typically don't pay federal taxes on it. But for February 2026, there's a new threshold for those who file jointly and earn additional income beyond Social Security. If your combined income exceeds $44,000, a portion of your Social Security could be taxable. This is new for 2026, and many recipients might not realize it until they file their taxes next year and get hit with an unexpected tax bill. If you're in this category, you might see a slightly reduced net payment after taxes this month if you've chosen to have taxes withheld from your Social Security, or if you're not having taxes withheld, you need to be setting aside money throughout the year to pay that tax bill when it comes due. Here's the truth about planning, and this is advice that applies not just to February, but to how you manage your finances throughout the year. February 2026 could determine how you manage the rest of the year. A small adjustment, a delay, or a bonus payment could affect everything from your grocery budget to your ability to pay for heating during the winter months. That's why it's crucial to check your online Social Security account regularly. Not once a year, not when you think there's a problem. Regularly, at least once a month. Verify your bank details are correct. Be aware of the state supplement rules if you live in a state that offers them. Don't wait for a letter in the mail to tell you about changes. Those letters are often sent out after the changes have already been applied to your payment. By the time you get the letter, the money is already in your account or not in your account, and you're dealing with the consequences. And for families helping seniors manage their benefits, this is especially important. If you're a son or daughter helping your parents, if you're a caregiver managing someone's finances, make sure you know these key dates. February 10th for the first payments, February 12th through 13th for new SSDI recipients, and mid-month adjustments could all affect how money is used for essentials like medication, utilities, and rent. Missing one of these updates could create unnecessary stress for your loved one who's counting on that money. Finally, here's something that's not widely known because the SSA hasn't made a big announcement about it yet. The SSA is gradually rolling out a system to alert recipients of potential discrepancies before payments are deposited. That means in future months, seniors might get a notification if their payment is going to be higher than usual, lower than usual, or delayed for any reason, giving them time to adjust their budgets and plans accordingly. February 2026 is the first real test of this system, and it will affect tens of millions of recipients nationwide. If it works well, it could prevent a lot of confusion and stress. If it doesn't work well, there could be even more confusion as people get alerts that don't match what actually happens. Being proactive now ensures you don't get caught off guard by any of these changes. So here's the takeaway, the bottom line you need to remember. February 2026 isn't just a regular payment month. It's a month of adjustments, potential bonus payments, state supplement updates, and a preview of new systems designed to make your Social Security experience smoother and more transparent. Some of you will see extra money in your account, money you weren't expecting but definitely deserve. Others may face minor delays that require some patience and flexible planning. The key is to stay informed, check your accounts regularly, and mark these important dates on your calendar. Let's recap the key points one more time so you're absolutely clear. February 2026 brings new Social Security payment dates, potential bonus payments for some recipients, COLA adjustments that increase payments by an average of 4.2%, and state supplement updates in certain states. The first payments could arrive as early as February 10th, with SSDI adjustments around the 12th or 13th for newly approved recipients. Some recipients will see extra money in their accounts from correction payments, while others may face minor delays due to verification processes. Here's what you need to do right now today before this video ends. Check your online Social Security account at ssa.gov My Account. Confirm your bank information is correct and up to date. Mark these key dates on your calendar: February 10th, 12th, 13th. If you live in a state with supplements like California, New York, or Florida, make sure you know your exact amount. Staying proactive ensures you get every dollar you're entitled to. Remember, February 2026 is not just another month on the calendar. It's a chance to take control of your benefits, plan ahead with accurate information, and make your payments work for you. Don't wait until your payment is late or wrong to start paying attention. Act now and make sure nothing slips through the cracks. Subscribe to this channel to stay informed about Social Security updates as they happen. Check for new videos regularly and make sure your Social Security benefits are always maximized. You've worked hard for these benefits. You've paid into the system for decades. Now let's make sure every dollar counts and that you're getting everything you're entitled to receive.